You click on this video because you're probably traveling to China for the very first time and it might be overwhelming you. Don't worry, I was in the same boat, but in today's video, I'm going to share with you how I plan to spend my 18 days in China. I'm going to be visiting 4 different cities in China. I'm going to break down how many days, how many nights, and what we're going to be doing. So let's get started. Hi friend, my name is Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I am here to share practical and helpful travel tips, especially for those of you who are traveling somewhere for the very first time. I traveled to Japan for the first time last year and I am going back to Asia again this summer, which is insane. I feel like I've been planning this for a long time. It's here. It's coming up. But the very first city that we're going to be landing on is Beijing, and we're going to be spending 5 days in Beijing. I am super excited to go to Beijing first because we are meeting with Ricky's family, but they're not going to be going to Beijing with us. So this is just going to be me and Ricky, hopefully frolicking around Beijing. But on day 1, we're going to be arriving in Beijing, and we learned from our mistake in Japan that we shouldn't really push ourselves so hard to do a lot of things in the first maybe couple days. So after we are checking in at our hotel, I want to make sure also that I'm able to connect my eSIM on the first day. I'm gonna make sure that I can figure out how to use the Apple Map in China to figure out direction. I definitely need to go to a convenience store or a grocery store or a market or something because we do need to get distilled water for Ricky's sleeping machine. I definitely would want to get some water bottles, some snacks, so if I get hungry at night or at the hotel, I have something to munch on that is important. And after all of that, we're probably going to stroll around the Guangzhou area because we are staying in that area, and I heard that there are a lot of malls, stores, restaurants, and we're probably gonna just relax and walk a little bit and kind of get to know the area that we are staying at. On day 2, we're also still going to be taking it pretty easy. There are a couple different sections of famous hutongs in Beijing. I think there are 2 main ones that we are going to go to, and I can share the map on where we're going to be, but there's one hutong area on the northern side of where we are staying. So we're probably going to go to that site first. It is close to the drum and the clock tower, I believe. And FYI, most of the museums and just attractions in Beijing is closed on Monday, so be aware of that. For example, the Palace Museum, the Summer Palace, the Temple of Heaven, and some other like government buildings. So some of those places are gonna be closed on Mondays, so make sure you know that. We're gonna be probably strolling through the hutongs. If the drum tower and the bell, is it the bell or clock tower? I completely forgot now. But if they are open on Monday, we're probably gonna try and do a quick visit. But there's also another hutong area on the southern part of where we're staying at. I forgot what it's called, but I will leave the name on the screen. We're also gonna try and visit that other hutong section in Beijing. And in between, if it gets way too hot, because again we are going in the summer at the end of June, so I am guessing it's gonna be pretty warm and not comfortable, we're probably gonna quickly go to a mall or something so we can be inside a building with air conditioner. There are a lot of shopping malls in the Beijing area. I like to go into shopping and maybe go buy something. Hi friends, Sarah's here, and I'm so sorry to interrupt today's video, but I just want to come on here really quickly to announce that I have a new freebie that you can download today. I have been sharing a lot of my recommendations and tips on how to go about planning your very first trip to Japan, and I created a very simple 12-day Japan itinerary that was inspired from my own trip to Japan. If you want to go check it out, the link will be down in the description box below. And now let's get back to the video. So day 3 is where it's gonna be getting pretty exciting, for me at least, because we are going to a section of the Great Wall of China. I am going to buy the tour from Klook, and I will share everything once I'm back because I don't want to share something and have you guys go through the whole tour and not have a good experience. I want to experience it first so I can tell you how it is for me, and then I can highly recommend it or maybe not recommend it at all. But we are going to the Mutianyu part of the Great Wall. It is about an hour and a half from the main city center. The specific tour group that I am planning to book this tour with has two different departure time. There's one at 8 a.m. there's one at 10 a.m. and both of us are not really morning people, so 10 a.m. is probably the best option. We're probably gonna get there at about 11:30 or 12. And with the tour that I am planning to book, they would also provide lunch, so we might eat lunch first before we explore the section of the Great Wall. And at Mutianyu, there's actually two different sections you can go to, the west and the east side. I think we're only going to be doing the west side because we only have about 4 to 4.5 hours to explore, and I don't want to rush ourselves to go to both. I think if we just pick one, it would be good enough. So day 4, we're gonna go to the Summer Palace and probably a lot more shopping malls. We're probably gonna leave the hotel at about 9, maybe 9:30 or 10 a.m. So we'll probably spend half a day at the Summer Palace. It's actually a pretty far trek from our hotel to the Summer Palace. I need to again figure out either the subway or maybe we can take Didi or a taxi or something. And then we're probably gonna go to one of the shopping malls in Beijing. There is this one area that I kind of want to go to. I think it's called the Sanlitun area, but basically there's a big building for just shopping, so I'm gonna go there. There's a lot of vlogs that I've been watching about Beijing, and a lot of people actually go to that area to go shopping, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then on the last day, on day 5, we are finally gonna make our way to the Forbidden City. There's actually a few different kind of sections you can go to. There is the Tiananmen Square, which is just a big area outside. People used to gather there, but now from the videos that I've been watching, it's pretty heavily guarded. But if you do have the ticket to enter the National Museum or the Palace Museum, which is Forbidden City, you can actually enter the Tiananmen Square for free. I don't think there's really much you can do there, but you can definitely just appreciate how big it is. There's a couple monuments, I think, in the square as well that you can check out. There's also another building where they have, it's like a mausoleum for the previous leader Mao Zedong. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing everything incorrectly, but you can actually pay a visit and pay respect to him inside this building. And I heard that there's always a very long line of people to get inside, and you can only basically pass by the mausoleum very quickly. So I don't think we're gonna be going inside, but after that area you can finally enter the Forbidden City. And honestly, I am planning to spend pretty much the whole day inside because the whole area of the Palace Museum or Forbidden City is huge, and there are different exhibitions that you can buy a ticket to. There are some free exhibition you can go inside and check out, and I think we're gonna end at the north side of Forbidden City. There's actually a couple parks that you can relax in after a whole day of just exploring Forbidden City or the Palace Museum. So we're gonna end up there, and after that we're probably gonna grab dinner and probably go back to the hotel because the next day we are flying to Hong Kong. So like I mentioned, day 6 is where we're gonna be flying to Hong Kong. I think our flight is at 10 a.m. I want to say. It's not super early, but obviously we do have to get to the airport probably 2 to 3 hours before our departure time because we are checking in our luggage, and technically we are not local, so maybe we need to allow a couple hours for immigration, all of that. When we do get to Hong Kong, we're just gonna be arriving there and checking in at our hotel. We are staying in the Mong Kok area, so we are not really planning to do much. I think once we check in and settle in at our new hotel, we might just go to the street markets around our hotel or near our hotel. There is the Ladies Street Market and the Sneakers Market around, like close to the hotel. Like I don't know if it's walkable, but I think it is. Obviously there is a boba store that is close by that I wanna try out as well, so we're just gonna take it easy. On day 7 we are gonna be staying in the Kowloon side. I think we're gonna go to Hong Kong Island probably the next day, but we are planning to go to Sam Sui Po, the TSC area, Avenue of Stars, as well as checking out the Symphony of Lights at the end of the day. I don't really have a pretty strict schedule, so I'm just gonna take it slow. I just basically write down the areas that I want to explore for that day in Hong Kong and just kind of play it by ear when we should be moving on to the next area. We're also planning to meet up with Ricky's family here, so that's why the itinerary is not as structured. It's pretty flexible just in case we need to meet them up somewhere during the day. Day 8, we're gonna be going to Hong Kong Island and we're gonna be exploring the east side of Hong Kong Island. So we're gonna be going to this place called the Hong Kong Film Archive. I read that it's a pretty small building with a small collection, but Ricky grew up with Hong Kong movies and he actually have been rewatching some of them on YouTube recently, so I thought this would be an interesting place for him to check out. I don't know what we're gonna be seeing, but from the review, I think it would still be interesting. Since we're going to the Hong Kong Film Archive, on the way back, we are actually passing by the Monster Building, the famous Monster Building. So I'm planning to just stop by there really quickly just to check out what the fuss is all about, because every photographer who's going to Hong Kong will stop at this Monster Building area. And there's also the coffee shop Percent Arabica. It's a famous coffee shop from Kyoto that honestly we didn't even get to visit, so there's one in the Monster Building area, so we're probably gonna grab coffee from there as well. And from there we're probably just gonna hang out in the Causeway Bay area, Wan Chai area, and again, I'm keeping the day pretty open, so if we need to meet with family during the day, we could just go ahead and go and then come back to wherever we were at. Day 9, we are gonna be going to Hong Kong Island again, but we're gonna be on the west side, so we're gonna try to go to the peak probably first thing in the morning, and then we are going to be hanging out in the central area. There is that famous outside escalator area that has become like a tourist spot, so we're probably gonna check that out as well. There's a couple like noodle places as well as like brunch and bakeries that I want to check out in Central, so that is kind of the perfect excuse to check out the escalator as well. And then again, keeping it flexible, so if we do need to meet up with family, we could. So day 10, we're gonna be going to Macau for the whole day. It is really close to Hong Kong. I think we are gonna take the ferry, and there are technically 2 different sides of Macau. I think there's the actual Macau Island and there's the other part called Taipa. So we're gonna go to Taipa first to visit some of the hotels. They actually have similar hotels as the one that we have here in Vegas, so I just want to check it out to see how similar it is. And also I want to check out how the casino looks like or feels like, because we did go to the one in Singapore at Marina Bay Sands, and the conclusion is that the government is definitely trying to discourage people to gamble inside the casino. So you have to go through security checks. Basically, if you're a resident of Singapore, you have to pay an entrance fee or like an annual pass if you want to go inside the casino. But because I'm a foreigner, I'm a traveler, we could go in for free. But even the minimum bet on the tables were just so ridiculously expensive. And I was telling Ricky after we visited that, oh my gosh, the government really does not want people to gamble. But it was just kind of interesting and kind of fun to go inside and check out the casino. So I want to do the same thing with the ones in Macau. There's also a team lapse inside one of the hotels in Macau. I want to say it's at the Phoenician. Since we didn't get to go in Tokyo, we're gonna go to this one. Hopefully it's not as crowded and not as popular, so hopefully we get to experience the whole team lapse museum and rooms. I think they have similar rooms to the one in Tokyo, so hopefully it will be a good experience. And then probably in the middle of the day after we had lunch or something, we're gonna go over to the Macau side of the island. I feel like it's a little bit older than the Taipa side, but I just want to again go check it out. There's also a couple kind of like touristy spots in the Macau side. There is the ruins of Sao Paulo Church as well as the Senado Square, and apparently there are a lot of those Portuguese tarred bakeries on the Macau side. I'm not sure if they will be sold out because we're gonna be going there in the middle of the day, but hopefully we'll be able to get something. Before moving on to the next thing in the video, I just want to interrupt this video really quickly just to invite you to subscribe to my channel. I think 98% of you who are watching my video is not a subscriber, and I would love it for you to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any of my future videos about Japan, about cruising, travel hacking, and so much more. I hope to see you on the next one, and now let's get back to the video. So the last city that we're gonna be visiting in China is Guangzhou, and we're gonna be there for 8 days. And the reason why we are gonna be there for longer, as well as why it's the last one, is because that is where Ricky's parents' hometown is. Ricky's dad grew up in Sundae and Ricky's mom grew up in Taishan. I'm hoping I'm saying it right, but we're gonna be in Sundae for the whole 8 days. So on day 11, we're gonna be taking the train from Hong Kong to Guangzhou, and then we're probably just gonna be settling in at Ricky's parents' house. We're probably gonna have dinner with family, and I think there's a lot of like street food area that we can check out as well. And my sister-in-law said that one of the cousins are going to take us around, so maybe that time would be the best time to do that. I think on day 12, which is the next day, we're gonna go to the Guangzhou city center. Ricky's parents' house is not really, obviously it's not in Guangzhou. It's probably gonna take us about 30 minutes to the city center, so we're gonna check out all of the touristy stuff like the Beijing street, the Beijing Lu area. We're gonna probably go shopping. There are some malls that we can check out as well. There's also some of the kind of like historical memorial museum stuff. There's the Dr. Sun Yat-sen's Memorial Hall area we can go to. Also the Chan Clan Ancestral Hall. But I'm not really sure if Ricky wants to do all of that because we probably did a lot of those type of spots in Beijing. And I'm hoping that the first night we're gonna be able to do the Pearl River night cruise. I heard it's really pretty at night. There's just so many lights and everything. And some of the cruises that I've seen on Klook and trip.com, it actually comes with like a snack and I think tea or something like that, so I would definitely need to check it out. On day 13, we're gonna hopefully go check out the Chimlong or Chimlong Resort. I do have a niece who is in kindergarten now and a nephew who is about 1 year old, and we are going to spend a day at the resort because they have so many things you can do, especially with kids. They have, I think, a bird park, like a zoo, a circus. We're gonna take our niece and nephew and just have a day spent having fun with them. I think that would be pretty cool. So day 14, I just put down as a day to hang out at the malls. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of huge shopping malls throughout China, and I'm sure Guangzhou has a couple malls that we can check out, and maybe we can mall hop and spend a whole day just going from mall to mall. But I also want to check out the Huacheng Square, the whole side of the Canton Tower, and also maybe during this time at night we can also go up the Canton Tower. There's like this bubble little thing that you can ride on top. It looks pretty fun. Ricky is afraid of heights. I do too a little, so we'll check it out and again play it by ear to see if we wanna hop on those rides. On day 15, we're probably gonna do the last minute stuff in Guangzhou that we haven't checked out. I definitely want to check out the Shamyandao Island, and I know that I said that we are going to Beijing Lu, but maybe we can check it out again. And honestly, again, leaving it open for family who wants to hang out with us, whether in Guangzhou or even in Sundae. But flexible schedule and itinerary is definitely the theme for our stay in Guangzhou because it is our first time. It is with the whole family. So whatever honestly that they want to do and that they want to show us, we'll be up for it. Day 16, I honestly just leave it completely open. I didn't have any plan for like me and Ricky. We can hang around in Sundae with our family. We actually were planning to take a studio photo for like the whole family, so we might do that this day as well. So day 17, again, we're kind of leaving the last day open as well because we might do kind of like a get together and a reunion slash like a party with all of the family in Sundae. And I'm not sure if we need to help set up or pick up food or decorate the house or whatever it may be, so I'm just gonna leave the whole day open. On day 18, which is the last day, we're actually leaving Guangzhou. We are actually leaving at 10 a.m. in the morning, which is super early. And Ricky's dad's house is actually about an hour away from the airport, so we might have to leave like at 5:30 or maybe 6 the latest to make our way to the airport. I haven't really shared this, but we are doing a quick detour before we go back to the US, and I want to keep that a secret until after I'm back. So let me know in the comment below, what are some of your favorite things to do in Hong Kong? Give me some inspiration, because I'm honestly leaving my schedule pretty open and flexible. So if there's anything that is super interesting that you think I have to go to or I have to do, let me know in the comment below. If you are also planning your very first trip to China, make sure you check out this video.